Welcome to Cooking with Bobbi Jo. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a delicious sesame chicken, so stay tuned. Alright y'all, we are starting off with 2 chicken breasts, and these are some very large chicken breasts. Typically you would need 4 chicken breasts, but I'm only using 2 because these are so large. I'm cutting these into nuggets or bite-sized pieces, and these are easier to cut when the chicken is still a little frozen. This piece is thawed completely, so it's a little more difficult to cut than the first one. Now that they're all cut, I'm going to put all of these into a bowl and go ahead and wash and disinfect my cutting board before we move on to the next step. Okay, I'm adding 1 cup of flour, a fourth a cup of cornstarch, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and 1 teaspoon of garlic. Oh, and 1 tablespoon of paprika. And I'm going to mix that all together. I may end up needing more, I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll know by the time I'm done with this recipe. Go ahead and get the oil heated. I put a couple of inches of vegetable oil in my skillet. You want to crack 2 eggs and whisk those together. Dip some chicken pieces into the flour mixture and coat those. Then dip it into the egg mixture and coat it with the egg. And then back into the flour mixture. And as they're coated, I put them in another bowl to make room for the next chicken pieces to get floured. And as soon as the oil is hot enough, go ahead and drop some of the chicken in. You know it's hot enough when you drop some flour in and it sizzles. While that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and continue breading the chicken pieces. These should cook about 3 to 4 minutes on each side. They'll turn golden brown, and this is the most time-consuming part of this recipe, is just frying up these chicken pieces. But once the chicken is done, put it on a paper towel lined plate or bowl. So here's all the chicken I fried up. Now, if you have some picky eaters that don't like the sesame chicken, you can always take some of these chicken nuggets and set those aside for the picky eaters. These are delicious just like this, but we're going to continue with this and we're going to turn it into sesame chicken. I drained the grease into my grease can and my skillet is still hot. So now I'm going to add a third a cup of reduced sodium soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar, 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil, 2 cloves of minced garlic, a fourth a cup of honey, a fourth a cup of ketchup, 3 tablespoons of brown sugar substitute, and I'm using Truvia, but I prefer Swerve. I just don't have any of that on hand. And then you get a whisk and you mix it all up. And it should be on medium heat, and you want to heat this until it boils. And once it starts boiling, you want to let it boil for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then add in the chicken pieces. Coat the chicken with the sauce. This is when a wok would have come in handy, but I cook everything in my cast iron. Now I'm going to pour all of this into a large mixing bowl because I need my large cast iron skillet to do my fried rice in. And the sauce, it thickens quickly once it's off of the heat. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sprinkle some sesame seeds on it. And this is the finished product. This definitely gets the drill-worthy stamp of approval because this was delicious. This will make about 6 to 8 servings depending on how large you decide your serving is going to be. Now, if it's small servings, you can get 8 out of this. If you're going to have more than a normal serving, you're only going to get about 5 or 6 servings out of it. And like I said, if you have normal sized chicken breast, use 4. And I did add additional flour and cornstarch to bread all the chicken, and I'll put the final amounts on my written recipe, which you can find on my blog. The link is below. Don't forget to check out my cooking videos on Monday and Wednesday, and then on Friday I will post a new episode of the Lake Hill City Birds. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch, and I hope y'all have a very blessed rest of your week.